Next, I have the privilege of introducing a good friend of mine and a good friend to this state. Mayor Erin Mendenhall of Salt Lake City is in her first term as Salt Lake's 36th mayor. She previously served for 6 years on the City Council, and she has served 2 terms on the Utah League of Cities and Towns Board of Directors. Mayor Mendenhall is here, and we are grateful to be in her beautiful city, and she would like to welcome all of you. So I'm going to turn the time over to Mayor Erin Mendenhall.
We are so glad that the League has continued to invest this conference here in our capital city, and I welcome you. It's rare to be able to get together with city council people and mayors from across the state. You know this because we're a rare breed. And I think it's hardly a day that goes by that I don't have a resident or a business person in the city say, gosh, I would never want to do your job. And I think you kind of know what that's like. There's not very many of us. We're the few and the willing, and I'm grateful for you in all of the cities and towns that you represent across this great state, that you say yes, that you show up, that you say, yes, I'm going to have that hard conversation to take on the tremendous issues we're facing. Because cities are the front lines, whether it's drought or growth or the surprises that came from 2020 all through that year and even into 21, you were there on the front lines. And I feel for you and I'm grateful for you. And Salt Lake City welcomes you. Access to the beautiful mountainous area that we live in, the outdoors, even City Creek Canyon that's just a few minutes from here, is one of the priorities for my administration as we look at the growth that's happening here. Salt Lake City permitted just over 4,100 new units of housing last year, and we're going to do at least that much again this year. So the number of residents is many more than that number of units. We're adding people, and we're mostly adding them vertically as you see that skyline change here in your capital city. So access to the outdoors, whether that's a pocket park, trails, or a new regional park, is a major priority. And this November, we will have a general obligation bond on the ballot for our voters to decide on an $85 million investment in parks, trails, and open space. And if that bond's approved, Salt Lake City will add, for the first time in over 60 years, a new regional park. It will be our third after Sugar House and Liberty Park. There is not a regional park on the west side of Salt Lake City, and there should be. We have more kids per capita on the west side, and a lot of our housing growth is happening there. So you may have fond memories, as I do, of sliding down the slip and slides at Raging Waters, which has been mothballed a long time ago. I'll give you a little city history. Ted Wilson was able to get some federal and state dollars to acquire that land, and it was bound to be used for recreation. So it worked as a water park, but we are going to turn it into a park if this bond is approved, and it will be our third regional park. Another big cusp that we are on as a capital city is about that electively, our residents and the city corporation are about to have saved 3 billion gallons of water this year. We didn't have to put a mandate in place. It is amazing. It's tremendous. And Salt Lakers are asking for these kind of conservation measures and access to better conservation techniques. They're voluntarily using less water, even with that tremendous population growth that we're experiencing. The capital city is 200,000 people and growing, and yet our water consumption is down over 25% from the year 2000. We're using far less water with far more people. And thankfully, we haven't had to do any kind of a mandate to make that happen. Last year, we saved 2.9 billion gallons, and this year we'll do more than that. So as you work creatively on the issues from very small towns, it was fun to meet some of fellow mayors and council people from at the governor's dinner for cities that we had on the lawn a few weeks ago, all the way up through the tier 1 cities who are facing some of those really tremendous growth problems and infrastructure. I am so grateful for the League of Cities and Towns that brings us together, not only to talk about the creative solutions and our joint approach when we address the legislature, but to build this network of relationships so that when you get those hard knocks at the public hearing or even at your own front door, you know that you have friends out there who have a shared experience. I know that I can reach out to my friends, Mayor Silvestrini, Mayor Ramsey, and so many others, and they aren't going to say, wow, I can't imagine what you're going through. So thank you for being the few and the willing who are leading Utah today on the front lines with me. I'm grateful for your friendship and your dedication to the state of Utah, and welcome to Salt Lake City.